Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and a Happy New Year to all of you. It's 2023. Time flies. Welcome to another live online paper crafting class. It's Wednesday, January 4th, 2023, and I'm broadcasting live at 11 a.m. Central Time. If you're watching this at a different time, then you're probably watching the recording. There's an area where you can comment during the recording and an area that you can comment afterwards. I would welcome you to comment anytime. If you do it within a week, you get entered into a prize drawing. A big welcome to all of you. Please like, subscribe, all of those fun things that I always forget to ask people to do. And hope you can stay through the rest of the class. A big welcome to you if this is your first time. I hope that you enjoy what I have to share. Before I begin, though, I'm going to bring you down to the desktop because I want to remind you, those of you that purchase Stampin' Up! Products, that this is the last day. Today is the last day to purchase from the July through December 2022 mini catalog. So if there was anything in here that is retiring, that is leaving, that is discontinuing, you'll want to purchase that today. You can go to the online store and you can click on, I want to make sure I tell you the right place here. I'm just going to go ahead and go there right now. But there is a menu item that you can choose from, and it is under the What's New, which seems kind of weird right now. But if you click on the What's New menu item, you can choose the July through December mini catalog, and it will show you what is left, what is still available from this mini catalog. All right, and then, what happens after that? Well, tomorrow begins this new publication called the January through April 2023 mini catalog, and also promotion called Celebration. So on that note, let's dive in. What am I going to share today? I'm going to share a fun fold card. It is a back-to-back bendy, sometimes also called a double bendy, although when I Googled that I saw lots of other ideas, so I just decided to call it a back-to-back bendy for today. That's what happens. Sometimes we get multiple names for cards, but I just thought it made more sense to me. So you can call it what you like. It's a fun fold card, and it's really cool. I was inspired by a card that I received from Teresa Glow for Christmas, and she shared with me this fold that I had seen a little bit of, but I didn't really investigate. So once I had it in my hands, I was like, yeah, I have to share this. This is really cool. So we're going to use products from the upcoming catalog that's going to start tomorrow. We're going to use products from the Fancy Flora suite. The Something Fancy stamp set, Something Fancy dies. Yes, they're calling them the same now if they coordinate. The Iridescent Pastel Gems, Fine Shimmer Paper, and the Fancy Flora Designer Paper. All of these items come from that suite. Now, I'm going to stop for just a minute because I want to make sure that you know that I'm in this group called All Stars, and we do these video classes that are exclusive and allow people to either earn them or purchase them or whatever you want to do to get your hands on them. You can come over here and clean my craft room or something. But anyways, we offer a new one each and every month. And this is the one that we're offering in January, and it's featuring the Fancy Flora. So we do a blog hop as well. A blog hop follows the release of our video class bundle, and so you can get even more ideas. You can get twice as many ideas, but if you want to, you can get your hands on that video class bundle if that's of interest to you, and there is more information in that about that in the blog post that's connected to this video. So I want you to sit back and enjoy, join in the chat, and when you do so, you get entered into a prize drawing, so make sure that you're chatting away, having fun with each other. I love it. On YouTube, people can actually chat before the live begins, and it's fun to read and see all the conversations, to people talking about mud, people talking about snow, gosh, all kinds of things, weather all over the world, right? It's interesting to hear what everyone's experiencing. I think Vay was saying that she's going to sit and just enjoy her afternoon watching the snowfall. She's from the same area I am, and there's no school today. It's really coming down. Like yesterday, it was coming down. So enjoy your time wherever you're at, and hopefully you're all healthy and happy. So if you're on YouTube, know that Trisha Josephs is here. She's a moderator. Say hello, Trisha. She is here. She has a little wrench symbol next to her name. She stands out, and she's here to help guide you into answers to questions that you may have during the live, because as I'm talking, I can't double duty here. I can't like read the comments very well as I'm talking, and I don't want to stall and try to catch up with everything. So Trisha's here to help us out with that, and then I read most of the comments after the live is done. Try to make it through all of them if I can. Lisa Marshall's on Facebook, so if you're watching during the live on Facebook, say hello to Lisa Marshall. Her name does not stand out because they don't have a moderator situation there, but she is there to help us out. So again, thank you to those individuals. You are a blessing to me and to all of us. Use the @ sign if you're going to tag Trisha so that she can see your name, A with a circle around it, and then start typing her name, Trica, and it'll pop up. You can click on her name and it'll stand out so that she sees your comment or question even better. I also appreciate when you share my videos, so please share away and then let us know that you shared. We're going to have the prize drawing towards the end. I'll also draw winners from the live that we had last week where we featured that really beautifully colored cat card. Such a very fun Valentine that you'll want to check out if you haven't seen that yet. And then let's move on to measurements and supplies. So I'm going to now pull up for us that screen and bring you over to, oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. So I'm bringing you over to my desktop so that you can check out the measurements and supplies that you can gather up to use to create this fun card. Now you can see the front and the back of the card in the pictures. You can also see I'm holding it up and kind of spreading it out so you can see that it actually is a card that can stand on its own. So it's like a display card, which is pretty cool. People love cards that you can display. This one is wedding themed, but you could make it whatever you want. Again, I'm using products from the Fancy Flora suite, so I tried to focus on the stamp images that were in that suite. You can see that we've got measurements for 3 different designer papers, or sheets of designer paper, I should say, from that pack. 2 of them are non-busy, and then 1 of them has more of a design to it. And then we've got the soft succulent and basic white cardstock. Those are the just kind of neutral colors cardstock that make our card. And then we've got the fine shimmer paper, which is also an accent or decorative piece of paper. So you can see what you need for scraps and all of that and measurements. And then look at the supplies. There's not a ton of supplies here. This is one of those fun fold cards that you can create with a little less than, well, it's crazy. When I was writing it out, I'm like, really, that's all that I have to put on there? All of the basic supplies are in there too, except for like clear blocks, grid paper. Sometimes I forget to add in their envelopes, but those are like real basics. But yeah, mini glue dots, dimensionals. Hopefully if you're a paper crafter, you've got some of those basics and you just keep using them for your, subsequent cards and all of that, all the projects that you're going to make. But above where it says the mini stamp and cut and emboss machine, those are more specifics, like the bow punch, which is one of my favorites, by the way. The different color cardstocks, the pastel shimmer, what are they called? Pastel gems, all of that fun stuff. So let's go to the desktop, and I'm just going to show you this quick glance here. This is pretty cool, just to see here a visual of, okay, here we go. Cool. Basic tools, and then more specifics. Let me bring the more specifics in. Amazing, right? Okay, this is the bow punch. You'll want it. You'll love it. Get it? Okay, and then we've got some colors. We're going to use just Night of Navy ink. We're going to use soft succulent and basic white cardstock. I've already cut those down. In fact, if you read the measurements, you can see that we're using 2 quarter sheets or 2 quarter sheets of the soft succulent paper, and then we're using a scrap of the white. You can also use scraps, like if you want to use up smaller pieces. And then we are using, these are the smudgies, iridescent pastel gems, and it comes in the 3 colors. I believe, I'm going to say the color's wrong. I want to say that they called this a vanilla, but it's really not in my mind. Oh, gold. I think they called it gold, which is weird. It's kind of multicolored, whitish or whatever. I believe this is Calypso Coral, and then this one I want to say is Bashful Blue, but they might have called it Soft Succulent. I don't know. They're multicolored. They're iridescent, right? So we're going to use those. And here is the Something Fancy stamp set, which coordinates with the Something Fancy dies. So we've got these label dies, which allow us to cut out our images once we stamp them. It's a set of 10 stamps and it's cling mount. So they look like this. We're going to go ahead and grab the 2 that we need. We're going to use the congratulations and here's to beautiful beginnings and happily ever afters. Yep, that's the one I got. And then for the dies, we're going to be using these 2 here that have kind of a fun scallopy top to them. And this one. Oh, and this one here too. We need that piece. But this one's pretty cool. What it does is it sits inside that piece so that when you die cut it, you get a fun little embellished hole at the top of your little label piece. Then we've got the papers. Let me introduce you first to the shimmer paper, the pastel shimmer paper, as all my scraps are falling out here. It comes in 3 colors. We have the fresh freesia, the gold, and the soft succulent. Yep, fresh freesia, gold, and soft succulent. And we just need a small scrap of this, which I've already pulled aside, but we might as well grab those just in case I need more. But yeah, pretty stuff, right, you guys? And it's unlike other glimmer paper where you don't even feel any scratchiness on the surface. Thank you, Mary. There's no scratchiness to the surface at all. It's like a smooth coating. It's kind of weird. And so your glitter is not going to fall off. Speaking of glitter, I have to tell you, my niece, she's so adorable. She's like, is she 3 years old now? But yeah, I think she's 3. I think she just turned 3. Super cute girl. Came to Christmas in a glitter dress. We have glitter all over our house. And, you know, if you're going to leave glitter at anybody's house, it might as well be a stamper's house. It's been fun. We've anyways. Okay, so these are the fun designer papers, and I don't have all of them here because I cut into several pieces when I was designing some other cards, like, no, I didn't use it for the tutorial. I actually did not use the designer paper for the the exclusive class that I made for the All-Star group. Crazy, right? But yeah, look at hand-painted designs. Super pretty. I want to say, I think this is the one that's actually on the cover of the catalog, this suite. Super pretty, aren't they? So these are all like the A sides. You know, they got, that one looks like lily pads, almost like a Monet painting. Just really gorgeous stuff, right? Impressionist stuff. So I don't have, again, like I don't have all the designs in here, but I have most of them. So you can at least get an idea of how gorgeous and bright and cheerful these papers are. Just pretty stuff here. We're going to be using designs. Oh, here. These are more of the designs because I have them pulled aside. So let me stick this on my back table. I had to save these because I didn't want to use them up. These are the designs that we're going to use today. So we've got our, spreading them out here. We've got our very non-busy papers, so these are B-side papers, and then we've got our one that has more of a design to it. We're going to be using 6 6x6 pieces for this card. We probably could have gotten away with just 4, but I'm substituting designer paper, because it's thinner, for cardstock. Most people that make this type of card will use 4 pieces of this cardstock. I'm just going to use 2. And the reason why is I want you to be able to mail it without adding extra postage if you want to. And if you want to do that, then I would leave off the fun embellishments at the end, because that's going to give you that bump up that makes the card non-machinable. You know what I mean? This is the card that Teresa Glow, my friend Teresa Glow, gave me. So there's her writing on the back side. So you've got a little area to write on the back. And then on the front is your design. Now look at this. This is so cool, you guys. Isn't that gorgeous? And she used the poinsettia paper that's retiring from the mini catalog, which I believe is already sold out. So don't go rush to the store and grab it. I think I've been asked if I have it, and I don't. Yeah, so pretty stuff. You can see here that it's the designer paper is connected onto this piece of cardstock. onto this piece of cardstock, this one, and this one. So there's actually 4. If we just spread it out here, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 pieces that connect to make the card base. Thank you, Teresa, for the card. So this is the one we're going to do. Okay, it looks like this on the front, and it looks like that on the back, where you can sign it in that little space. Here's a gem. Here's a gem. If you leave them off, this card will be super thin to mail. Okay, can you see how thin that is? All right, so let's go ahead and start putting this together. I forgot my blocks. Hang on a minute. I should write blocks down on my supplies. I always forget to do that because typically I'm ready. There we go. There, we have our mounted stamps. Let's bring in our paper trimmer and start forming the pieces that we need for our base. These pieces, again, are a quarter sheet, so we've got 5.5 by 4 1/4 of each of these. Okay, so let's do similar. Let's cut. I want to cut this way. No, I can cut this way first. I'm going to cut this way. All right. I'm just trying to figure out which part of the paper I want to save here. So if, yeah, I agree with you, Roxanne. She said, I hope SU would make more flat gems. We've had a couple here and there, but yeah, it would be awesome if we could get them flatter. So we're going to cut this one to 5.5 inches tall. And save that for something else. And then we're going to cut in this direction at 4 1/4, except if you remembered on the little measurement sheet, I said a little less than 4 1/4. So this is where you look at these little marks here, and I'll zoom in so you can see it better. Thank you, Barbie. She just commented on, she likes the card. Okay, so here's 4 1/4. We're going to go back 1 little notch, so it's a 1/16 of an inch less. And if I said to you 4 3/16, you'd be like, what? So yeah, let's just say a little less than 4 1/4. No, some of you would get it, right? Okay, so this is scrap to use for something else. But now we have our bases. We're going to fold this one by hand in half because it's thin enough where we can do that. But these, it's going to take a little bit more. So let's put our score line in there. Half of 4 1/4, because this one's 4 1/4 inches wide, is 2 1/8. So we'll move it to that spot, use the scoring blade, and give it a good crease. We'll do that with both of these pieces, like that. And then we're going to come in, we'll just push that aside for just a minute because we're going to need to bring that back. We're going to come in and we're going to fold along our score line, like so. When you fold, do you remember I put the crease on this side? It creates a little valley, and then you've got a mountain on this side. When you do that, it's best to push away from the valley and towards the mountain because of the fibers of the cardstock. You get a cleaner fold that way. So now we've got our 2 cardstock pieces folded in half, and for these, we'll fold the green to the inside because the inside is what we're going to be seeing when we put together this card. And you can, you can choose any portion of that designer paper. Like if you liked the lighter green, you could choose that. I don't know why I just chose the darker green. So now we start gluing it together. And I say glue because it's going to give you more control if you use a glue rather than a dry tape type of adhesive like seal. And I, of course, like to have mine in these precision tip bottles. There is a link to my favorite things. When you go to my blog, you can go to shop, and then there's underneath the shop menu, there's a section called My Favorite Things. To fill these, by the way, they just screw off. A lot of people have been asking me, how do you fill these things? Do you see how narrow that is, though? It's very narrow. So when you fill them, you have to, the trick is just do it slowly. You have to be patient. Maybe bring your glue up super high so that you can see the stream going in. If you're putting it right on top, you're going to have an overflow because you won't be able to see if the glue is going all the way into the bottle, and it can't back up. If it starts to back up, the glue has nowhere to go but up and out. So go slowly so that you can see it drop into the bottle all the way. All right, let's go ahead and add the papers. So we'll add a little thin line of glue. Come on, glue. Make sure this works. Is it coming out? All right, sometimes you're gonna have to grab a little pin, I guess. We're just gonna, oh, it's fine. It's just, maybe I don't have it all the way to the bottom. Hang on. Or maybe I gotta fill it again. Come on, we're live. There we go. We had a little goober inside there, a little piece of dried glue. We'll move that over there. All right, now we're going. So go around the edges and then attach this piece to one of the panels on the cardstock. And when you do this, you want this section to connect more so than this section. So just know that that's what you're lining up. Okay? Just in case there's like a 32nd of an inch difference, right? Okay, we have that done. Now we can connect this piece to this piece. You're just going to kind of go back and forth, alternating. Designer paper to cardstock, cardstock to designer paper. So this one will go on here. And see, with glue, there's wiggle room. So I can wiggle it until it's starting to dry. That looks good. And now we'll connect the last one to this side. Fun, fun, fun. Last night we had a team event and there were so many fun ideas shared in our Zoom. Oh my gosh. If you're one of my team members, shout out and say how much fun you had. It was fun. I had fun. Learned so many ideas when we connect online like that. Okay, let's connect these two edges. And if I was going slower, I might pay attention to the direction of my designer paper, but I am trying to make this efficient. You'll see the finished card in my blog post. Again, that's going to be connected to the instructions. The words that are in the description of the video, that's where you're going to see the link to the video or to the blog post. But if you don't see it because you're on Facebook, then you'll just have to wait a couple minutes, come back after the live is done. I will be adding that. I don't know how to add that description when I'm doing my live. I don't know how to do that. Okay, so here we have our base and it folds flat. You want to make sure it folds flat in all the directions. And I went really quick on that, so I was not super careful, but we've got it. Okay, so this is the part that you're going to not add anything to, and this is the part where we're going to add some stuff to. So now we come in with our second designer paper. This designer paper is going to be cut to 2 inches by 5 3/8. We can do them together. I already cut a 2-inch strip from this section to use on my first card. We only need 4. So from one sheet you get 3, and then from another sheet you got 1. That's how this one ended up this way. So we're going to go ahead and cut these to 2 inches wide. Actually, let's save some cardstock here, or designer paper. Let's cut them first to 5 3/8. And I'm not doing them both at the same time because that paper is moving on me. 5 3/8. And then we'll put them together. See, now you can use these strips because they're nice and long. We can use those for something else. So just wanted to save them as whole as possible. So now we're going to cut to 2 inches wide. This piece will also be 2 inches, and then we just need 1 more. Okay. These pieces need to be cut to 4.5 by 5, and we need 2 of them. So when you're looking at this card, you can see where I sort of picked out where I was going to cut. One trick to do is to take vellum, something that you can see through like acetate, and lay that size piece. Let's just do that. Let's just do that, Rachel. Okay, I'm going to grab a piece of vellum here, and we're going to cut a piece that is 4.5 by 5.5. It's a fun trick, you guys. 5.5 by 4.5. You don't have to do this, but if you really want to get the best section of your designer paper, it kind of gives you an area where you can kind of map it out. Do you see that? Wherever we move this to is where we can cut around. So for my piece, I did have 2 sides that wrapped the back, and those pieces, oops, I cut this wrong, didn't I? Let's try that again. 4.25 by 5.5. 4.25 by 5.5. That's what happened. Now let's make sure this is 5.5. It is. Okay. So when you look at this, what happened there? Oh, Rachel gave wrong directions. Wrong measurements? No. No. Okay, I hope you guys aren't crafting with me. Hang on. 5. It's 5. Oh my goodness sakes, Rachel. Now we're gonna have to correct that in 15 minutes time. No, you know what? The blog post is gonna go live at 3 today, not at 12:15. So we have time. All right, let's try that. There it is. And it's probably 4 and, oh gosh, yeah. You know what I was doing? Oh, everything's fine on there. I was looking at the wrong thing. We're starting over. Fancy Flora designer paper floral is 4.5 by 5, Rachel. 5 by 4.5. Well, we just wasted a bunch of vellum on that, didn't we? Something's got to go wrong, right? Okay, now we've got it. And I had the measurements correct. I was looking at the soft succulent instead. All right, so we've got 5 inches tall by 4.5 inches wide. There's 1/2 inch on each side that's going to fold back. So I don't want to, get rid of that on my vellum tool here. Looking at this again, let's just bring this in. The place where I cut was right here because I felt like I had the most centered area between these 2 sections if I cut it there. If I put it up here, then I had hardly any floral at the bottom. If I brought it over here, again, a lot of it disappeared, but here I grabbed the most. So let's put those together and let's cut. Our piece is going to be in this direction. It is cut to 5 inches. We're making sure we're not doing this wrong. By 4.5. So we're going to bring that to the 4.5 inch mark, and then we need to do our score marks on each of these. So on each piece, we're going to score at 1/2 inch from each of these ends. And I think, yep, it's going through both. Designer paper is kind of thin, so we can score both at the same time. We're going to fold that back, fold that back. See, it went all the way through. Okay, so now we can see the center of both of our panels. We're going to die cut one of them, as you can see. We're going to die cut that with the larger of the 2 frames. We're going to die cut some white with the smaller. And then you can see the bow punch is back here. Can you see those leaves in there? That's going to be done with the punch. On the other side, we need to die cut a large section of the shimmer paper with the large scallop die. And then we're going to do another white one, but this one is going to contain the small little flower in it. And you can see we need one more. So we're going to do 5 pieces that are die cut. And I'm going to bring in a tool that a lot of you know. It's called the Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Set these aside for a minute, bring all our dies over here. The Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine, this is the mini. You can see compared to my hand that it's smaller. It's great for traveling, it's great for crafting retreats, it's great for just having on your desktop. Put it in your purse, die cut wherever you want to be, right? And I'm going to show you its sister machine now. This one here. This is the boho blue design, which will be available tomorrow for anybody who wants to purchase it through a starter kit. So let's just play around with that one. We're using the base plate, and we're going to use 2 cutting plates. It does come with the same plates as the other mini. You get the base, the 2 cutting plates. You get 2 that are great for embossing folders. This one's for the 3D embossing folders, and this one's for the regular embossing folders. So set it up. We're going to have our scratchiest plate on the bottom. And we'll put our paper in like this. And you may want to use a Post-it note or sticky note. I'm just going to go ahead and sandwich it in, and we'll guide it through. Make sure everything's lined up and give it a good crank. Even the mini boss is super strong, right? Look at that. So we've just die cut our beautiful shimmer paper with the wrong die. And that's why I have extra paper. Oh my goodness, Rachel. Okay, you guys keep track of how many things go wrong today, all right? So far 2. You know what? I was thinking before I went live, I should probably die cut a lot of these beforehand. And then I didn't. I don't know why. Yep, you can crank in either direction. If you're left-handed, right-handed, it works either way. You could use it this way, you know what I mean? So it works for everybody. That's the one we need. And now I have to create another card for the smaller one. Oh dear. All right, we also need a large one cut from this designer paper. And to do that, it will fit. I'm just going to crease this down here. I want to make sure that this will not pop up on me. In fact, we can place it upside down when we put it in here. And we'll just center that. We're going to center that within the folds of our paper. This is where I think I'm going to grab a sticky note, which I had on my desk, and they are now missing. Oh, here they are. Okay, so I'm going to grab a sticky note, and I'm just going to keep that held down in place so it doesn't move on me. Place this back on top, and that looks good. I love that cutting mats are clear. You can see through them, and you can make sure that your die is in the right spot as you crank it through. There's always time to back up if you have to. All right, so now we have our window cut in our pretty paper. We have this piece done, so that we're done with the big one. Now we're going to come back and we're going to do the small one. The small one is going to go with the white cardstock, and I'm going to trim this down so that we have a narrower piece in here. Okay, got our white cardstock down. Oh, I have to give you a tip on the smaller machine here. Do you see these tapered ends here on the cutting plates? That is to help you guide things in so that it kind of catches on the rollers better. If you have those beyond the base plate, that is going to be okay to do. But you don't want to have them too far beyond. Like, they have to catch. So if you're finding that you can't grab things in your mini boss, you just have to do a little adjusting in this section so that the plates are on top. You'll see. You'll see if you get it. I've had people comment before, like, how do you, and that's the trick. You just have to make sure that those are adjusted right. Sometimes pull it back out, adjust it again. Let's make sure that this stays in place with our sticky note and our second sticky note. We'll just put 2 on there. Put this one back on top. There we go. So it's sitting inside there, as you can see. And we'll crank it. And it's going to put this, oh, did you hear that? That means it's working. And we're going to have this pretty floral cutout at the top. So let's peel that away, take that off. There's our cutout at the top. Is that not gorgeous? I love it. And look you can use these pieces for something too. We are going to just kind of shove them aside. Stick this back on here. We need one more without the little decorative design. So we'll go back in this direction, make sure it's all lined up. See, I don't have everything lined up perfectly on here. And it's still going through. But again, if you find that there's an issue, just adjust where your plates are hitting. The last thing to die cut is this one here, so we'll just grab this. In fact, let's stamp first. Because we have cling mount stamps, it's going to be a little bit easier to do our die cutting after we've stamped, which I should have done on this piece, but we're going to give it a go. We have two sides, so if we mess up, we can always fix it. Let's grab our Night of Navy ink, cling mount stamps. You can kind of tell where the stamp is going to stamp, but this just makes it safer. And I'm going to stamp it at an angle this time. That way we're going to guide this through our machine at an angle. It's going to go through a little bit easier. Let's put that over the top like that. Set that out of the way temporarily. Got our scratchy plate on the bottom, our cleaner one on top. After time, your bottom plate, if you're not familiar with machines like this, your bottom plate is going to get scratchier and scratchier and scratchier. That is okay. It's when it gets to the point where it's, breaking, where then you just throw that one away and the top one becomes your next scratchy plate, because it does get some impressions in it, and that way you can use this one as your next scratchy plate, and you can put a fresh clean one up on top. So now we've got that piece cut out, and now we move to the stamping. So say goodbye temporarily to little boho machine. Super cute, isn't it? And so pretty. And then let's grab our ink again and this shape, and we're going to ink up our stamp. It probably would help you if you put labels on your stamps, which I didn't do yet because I was so excited to work with this stamp set that I just dove into it right away. But we can do this trick too. So you're going to stamp onto your grid paper, and you're going to kind of memorize where you place that stamp, where you think it will line up nice and straight. And I felt like it was going to be centered between these two sides. You can see it's a little tilted down to the right, so when I put this onto here, I'm just going to kind of tilt up a little bit. Did I do it? I think that's pretty close, so we're going to go with it. All right, close up your ink pads when you're not using them. That way you won't stick your finger in there accidentally. Make sure that your die pieces do not disappear on you. Stick them back onto your sheet that you got them from, or if you use magnetic sheets or whatever. All right, we have these pieces. We have these. Let's start assembling the rest of our card. These guys go onto our soft succulent panels, and I believe on my finished card I have them towards the top. Yes, I do. So get that glue shake to the bottom, go around the edges, and we're going to add a panel to each of these sides. These are 2 inches wide. Our section here is 2 1/8 inches for the soft succulent piece. So you've got a 1/16 of an inch all the way around for your border that shows through on the soft succulent. All right. And it's okay if these don't necessarily match up, because when this gets over the top of it, you're not going to really pay attention to what is behind there. So, but you did see that I've lined that up, which is pretty cool. But I guess I mentioned that because you're going to get only 3 of these from the 6x6 paper. If you're using 12x12 designer paper, then you can have them all line up for sure. And I guess you could with this paper too, except you'd have to use up 2 fuller sheets a little bit. I don't know. Anyways, you can figure it out. You can play around with it. By the way, the prize today is designer paper from the past. A lot of you loved that option in the past, and I've got that brought back today. And the people that win, I'm going to try to give you, oh, look at that, those lined up too. I'm going to try to give you at least 2 of the same, so that you can attempt to do a card like this. You're going to get at least 2 that are the same for a front design. Does that make sense? I probably won't give you 3 pairs, but because it's hard. There's a ton in that box. Now these are going to go down in a slightly different way. Yeah, that's lined up pretty good. We're going to keep the card super flat when we add these. And we want to make sure, go away from me, there we go. We want to make sure that this is not rounded when the card is super flat because it has to mail. It's always important that you can flatten your card shut more so than you can open it. So my advice to you basically is don't stand up your card and then try to put them on rounded. Keep everything flat as you're putting it together. And then when you open it, when you stand it up, you can see it's going to automatically round, okay? Oh, good. A lot of you are saying that you love that prize. Yay. The designer paper prize is back. I've filled it up again with some papers that are retiring or did retire just recently. So you may get some of those. Who knows? I've got papers from years ago in there too. Okay, this one, I kind of want to have the same look, so we're going to check the back side. There we go. So they have the same direction for the pattern. Also, make sure that this line is parallel to the outside edges of the card. If it's tilted in any way, it's not going to stand up right, or it's not going to bow out right. It's going to be kittywampus. Where did that word come from? Kittywampus. Where did we get the bottles, Linda? Linda asked where I got the bottles from Amazon. So I've got them linked in the favorites section of my blog. Again, you go to my blog at stampyourartout.com. And I believe, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, so hang on. When you're there, yep, you click on the shop menu. There's like a shop, well, just get rid of that one. So there's all these menu items at the top. Home, about me, videos, blah, 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 blah. And there's one that says shop. And when you click on it, you can scroll down to where it says my favorite extras, and you'll be able to find it there. All right, now when we add these pieces, so this one, let's see here. We'll do the back side first. When we add these are going to go like this, right? Yeah, that's the way we got them. We're going to add them with the glue, but we can't glue the whole thing down flat because if you look at this, it has to be able to bow out like that. So the only place that we're putting glue on is right down the middle. And you do about 1/4 of an inch. That's probably safe to do. But don't go any wider than about 1/4 of an inch. Place that in the middle. And I'm just going to check this other side here. Yep, it's about the same distance. This piece here can go on flat. So you can go ahead and do, you know, the whole back side of that, because that's going to attach to this piece that's going to stay flat when you open up the card. See, it's staying flat there, so you don't have to worry about that. This one can have glue all over the back side. And then I am going to use dimensionals because they're fun. But if you want to have a very, very flat card in, oops, there we go. If you want to have a very flat card in your envelope, less bulk, then I would not recommend the dimensionals. And for the dimensionals, you really, you want to keep them on within the white area, I would say. So I'm just going to kind of place them here. So I've got a flat edge on the bottom and a flat edge on the top of each dimensional because they're six-sided, they're hexagon type shapes. And I want to make sure that they don't peek out. You can put them on the back side of this piece too. It's up to you. Normally I do that, but I just wanted to make sure that they stayed within the white. Then you come straight down on top and add that like that. The embellishment we'll do later. So then we flip it over and we've got this piece that we want to put in here. So now we go back to our measurements. Oh my gosh, that's still on the screen. Sorry about that. We go back to our measurements and our measurement sheet, if I can pull that up, says one more piece of designer paper from this little guy here. And that is going to be a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. Yeah, I think I'll use this one. So we'll do a 2.5 inch by 1/2 inch. I'm using the measurements on this side of the trimmer, going to a 1/2 inch, and then we're going to score. We're going to score a 1/2 inch in on each end, like that. Those pieces are going to fold back. We're going to put glue on them right now. And we're going to treat this piece the same as we did its larger family member. I got to fill this up more. The one that is already on the card. that is going to frame our beautiful sentiment. So this one here, we're going to put it on the same way, and we're just going to stick that right smack dab in the middle, like that. Okay, we've got the glue, and everything's flat, and when we open this up, it's going to pop out just like the other paper did. And that's what's going to hold our sentiment piece. Oops, we didn't hold it down long enough. There we go. Oh, that's funny. All right. Sorry, I was reading somebody's comments. Someone's talking about Siri. Ginny, what's Siri saying? Talking via Siri so the words may not make sense. Oh, you must be having a conversation with somebody. Okay, so I hope it didn't get stuck down. Oh, there was a little glue that seeped out. Be careful of seeping glue. Okay, on the back side of this one, we're going to put a little glue. Actually, we're going to put it on this. We're going to put it right through the middle here. Don't do it yet. We have something to attach to this. We're going to bring out our other scrap, and we're going to punch a couple little branch pieces. Let's turn this to 1 1/4 inches here. Actually, let's just go diagonally. We're going to go diagonally. Paper snips. I almost cut it all the way across. Okay, so this one's going to come in like hair in my face. Boy, okay, that's 4 things that have gone wrong so far. This one's going to come in like this, and we're just going to angle it into our punch. That way we don't waste by punching that little top piece, because we don't need that little top piece. We'll get 2 of those, and we're going to attach these to the back side of this. And the way that I did that was with glue dots. That's why the glue dots are written on there. So we're going to grab our glue dots, take our Take Your Pick tool, and add one here. And you want to make sure that the glue does not show on the back side. And then we're going to add another one right here. So the base of these 2 lower leaves, and make sure they stay within the leaf area. This one is going to connect to the back, and I believe I had it kind of like that. Yes, like that. And then the other one, make sure we do this one. Yep, same thing. So the base of the 2 leaves, one here and one here. All right, and then they're going to go like that. So the leaves aren't going straight, but you're not going to, notice that too much. What you're going to notice is just the portion that is peeking through the window. All right, so that's going to come in here. We're going to attach it like that, but first we add the glue. So we're just going to add a thin line of glue right through there. Open it up and set it down in there. Make sure that it's all centered. Oops, it's moving on me. Don't move, stay there. And we had a sticky little mess behind this one earlier, so I think we just have to pry it because Rachel put on too much glue during the live. Hang on a minute. We're just going to remove this and we're going to get a new one in there because I had too much glue on it. Yeah. 5 things. Lives are fun, aren't they? We're going to remove this and put a new one on because that one seeped out stickies where we don't want them to be. Flip that over. Let's get another 2.5 by 1/2 inch piece. Score it in a 1/2 inch from each end. Oh, ever have one of those days? Okay, now we're going to fold these back. We're going to come in here and we're going to remove the sticky that seeped into the middle. This is also a fun tool that you can find in my favorite things. It's called an adhesive eraser. And it's just going to eliminate that middle area where the adhesive seeped out. Oh, that's so much better. Okay, back to square one for this one. Put a little adhesive there, a little adhesive here. Now we'll set it down right on top of the mess. Hold it for a second. And we'll just kind of remove a little bit of glue in there too, because we created a little mess. See how that works? Once the glue is dry, it's especially this mono multi-purpose adhesive, the Tombow stuff, you can roll it up like this, just like you would like tape. It's pretty cool because it remains tacky, so it catches on the adhesive eraser. It is one of my favorite liquid glues, that's for sure. Okay, now it's clean. And see, that one's working. It's working, you guys. Here we go. Let's try that again. Put a little adhesive right through there. Don't put a lot like Rachel did earlier. We're going to bring it up. We're going to slip this in, and then we're going to flatten everything down. Now it should work. Oh, yeah. Yep, it's a crooked card. That's okay. We're going to go with it. All right, the last parts for this card. Oh, yay, it worked. The last parts of the card are to add these beautiful embellishments. And these are the embellishments that come in the suite. You can purchase the suite all at once, or you can purchase parts and pieces of it. So I've regretted purchasing parts and pieces of suites many times because it's more work. And I end up eventually getting everything because it coordinates, and who doesn't love coordination? So I put a little gem there, put a large gem there. There is our back-to-back Bendy card. Thank you again to Teresa Glow for this beautiful card that I got at Christmas so that I could share this with you all. We have prizes to do. Again, the boho machine. How do you get the boho blue? It's a starter kit purchase. That's the only way you can get it. So make sure that you keep that in mind. Consider that. The starter kit allows you to become a discount shopper, but you can also do things like what I'm doing. You can sell Stampin' Up! Product once you get the starter kit. Just throwing things away here. But becoming a discount shopper is a really good deal. And during celebration, the starter kit, you get more of a value. You get $50 more on your starter kit. Normally, it's $99 for $125 worth of product. But now, during celebration, it is either, like if you don't want the machine, I'm just going to read this, make sure I read it right. If you don't want the machine, you can choose up to $175 worth of product and pay just $99 for it. Or if you want the machine, then you pay $129. So $30 more gets you that $60 machine added in to your starter kit. You'll find more information in the celebration brochure, and starting tomorrow, I'll have all the details on my website. Okay, so let's move over to prizes. Prizes. Last week's prizes were, I had one stamp set, and then that one disappeared. The stamp set was taken already. Let me zoom out a bit here so you can see everything. This is what's left, because I still haven't heard from, let me pull up my prize list here. Yeah, oh, nope, Melanie did grab one. Sorry, Melanie's on with us. Melanie grabbed the Good Things card and envelope pack, and she grabbed a bone folder, so we're going to throw a bone folder in there. By the way, if you opt to have the bone folder, you don't have to, but if you want one, you can work away at the label pieces here, use Goo Gone or something, and then it doesn't have to have my information on it. It's good, ready to go, clean as new. All right, so I have extra bone folders, optional if you want them. But prize winners today that I'm gonna call out in just a second here, get these that have been opened up. This one I believe is missing 2 cards out of it, but this one I believe has everything. Anyways, this is the Santa Express cards and envelopes, and this is the Good Things cards and envelopes. And those winners, and let's just go to our computer so that you can see the names that we drew. All right, from the, get that off of there, there we go. From the YouTube Afterlive comments, Marlene N is the winner. So you get to tell me which card pack you want and if you want a bone folder. And then the Facebook commenters, Kathy Salse, you are the winner. So congratulations to those two people. And then we have other prizes. So let me move these over here. And we're going to grab this bin. Here is the bin O papers. You can see, oh, look at that. Lights aglow. There's some beautiful papers that were just added to this bin. And then, of course, some things from the past are in here. Oh my goodness. Ooh la la, right? So you're going to get a pack of, a variety pack of designer paper if your name is drawn. And Trisha Josephs is going to do the honors and let us know who the winners are. And I'm just going to go to my computer here and see if I can glance. And there's the names. The winners today are Deb Sherwood and Carol Davis. Deb Sherwood and Carol Davis. And she has tagged you so that you should be able to see your names pop up in orange if you scroll through the comments. Make sure that you reach out to me at stampyourartout@comcast.net if you are a winner. We do not want you to go away without your prize. I appreciate everybody commenting and love that you're here with me on these lives. I will be live again next week. Next week at 11 a.m. Central Time on Wednesday, January 11th. Now, when this blog post that's connected to the video goes live, it's going to go live in 3 hours. In 3 hours at 3 p.m. Central Time. So do the conversion wherever you're at. And it's going to be a blog hop. So people who are doing creations with me in my all-star group, we've all come up with a second project. This is my project, and then you're going to see 11 other projects, hopefully if we're all on the blog hub. You're going to click on that blog link. You're going to view what I had. You can print off the PDF that I showed you earlier. You can recreate this card even with your own products. You can see links to all the different things. The measurements are there again, photos, all of that. Then scroll all the way down because at the bottom, you're going to also be able to click on the names of the other all-star demonstrators and see what they've shared on their blogs. There are so many talented demonstrators in this group. I'm in awe of them. So I hope that you enjoy what we have to share today. If you're interested in getting the exclusive class video bundle, which we used to call tutorial bundle, but it's called a video class bundle because it's a bunch of extra videos, right? You can access that by visiting my blog post too, because it's going to give you all the information. We are having a 6-month subscription discount right now. So if you purchase 6 months all together during the month of January, you have till the end of January to do this, you will save on 1 month's worth. So you can get all 5 for, all 6 for 5 months value, if that makes sense. I think I've shared everything. Don't forget that celebration starts tomorrow, first day of the new catalog. Today is the last day of the current catalog, and I love that you all came with me. Please like, please subscribe, thumbs up, all of that. I love you all. Take care, and now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.